Hello, UCR. What's your favorite scary movie?
Look, I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason. There's a lot of these movies.
A lot of these movies.
There's a lot of these movies. It's funny to think that, back in the day, that's kind of why this little area of the podcast started. Like this little withered zombie arm of our podcast started. It's just like, we're going to talk about horror movies. And then we'll start with Friday the 13th. And we're only still 5 movies in.
Didn't we
4
do
years
it
later.
like as a Mother's Day special or something?
Yeah, it was a Mother's Day special. We did
Yeah.
part 1 and 2 together. I'm pretty sure it started out as
Yes, it was.
best mother in one of the best mums in horror history. I mean, come on, who doesn't love a bit of Mrs. Voorhees?
She didn't muck around with anyone, did she?
No,
She did not.
Better than Sydney Prescott's slut mother.
Oh.
Causes a multi-generational massacre because she can't keep it in her pants.
Maybe
Like,
she's a
come
slut,
on.
just like her mother.
Nori. But we are gathered around the campfire once again. Surprise, by the way. We didn't really advertise that we were doing this, so we'll be surprised if anyone's. We're also live, so if you're live and watching us, let us know. We don't do Uncensored Horror live that much. It's usually when we have little discussion shows, but this is a live review. So if you have strong feelings about the movie we're going to discuss, please let us know because, we have feelings about everything. But it is that day. It is his day, or at least in the States. We kind of dropped the ball a little bit in Australia, but that's okay. And there's hope. We've reached
There's hope.
Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Well, let's be nice and say,
Okay.
look, we've skipped out this one because we actually interviewed Melanie Kinnaman, who was the final girl in part 5, and that was kind of our crossover as a
We
review.
didn't do a
of part
review.
5 as
we
well.
didn't really do a review on that. We didn't
Didn't
interview
we?
with Melanie.
Are
No,
we going to
did
get
it.
Melanie back for that then?
Maybe, who knows? But maybe she doesn't want to. Maybe she doesn't want to be around for the review. They can sometimes be a little bit scathing.
And this is a bit misleading because is it really the final part?
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Now, I've got to say, if it's the one thing that this franchise did correctly is the recap at the beginning. I love that.
I love the recap.
I love it.
And I loved how it showed the other final girls and like Chris swinging that axe into his head.
Look,
and I was like, we're ready to go.
We saw Chris Higgins once, and that was more than enough for me.
What do you mean?
I can't stand her. I think
Why?
She's
Is it because
the
she's
worst.
like me?
She's the
What
worst.
does that mean?
She's the worst.
Well, I'm a little bit, I feel like she was a little bit animated and histrionic.
I don't think we need.
That's why
I just didn't think we needed.
There's a difference between gay flamboyance and just being extra and terrible.
I just don't think we needed Jason Voorhees SVU.
I love that.
That wasn't her fault.
Dun dun.
That wasn't her.
It's
No, we're not
Barbie.
victim blaming. But why is Jason suddenly like a fucking rapist in the village in the forest? Just like woo.
It was bad writing, Barbie. Or
But
bad
yes.
casting.
Look, it was very interesting. It does put me in the frame of mind. I'm always like, okay, let's go, because it sets the scene, the full moon, and then, of course, I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason, which is like, okay, cool. I love that the majority of the footage that they used is part 1 and 2. It's just like, remember these ones? Remember these ones? These ones were good. Remember these?
I feel
Look,
like
Because technically, all right, so this is all happening
over the
post
same weekend,
the
right?
same weekend. Like this is the
Yeah,
same weekend.
Yeah.
it picks up immediately where the last movie left off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
part
Like,
2, 3,
exactly.
4 are all that same Friday the 13th weekend.
Mhm.
He's a busy boy.
He's a busy boy.
Which kind of, I guess, does lead a bit more credence to these first movies, him being human-ish, you know? That it's not like he goes away for 17 years like Michael Myers and then stumbles out of a sewer and goes, "Here I am." He's like
Yeah, we're
just
not talking about that.
moving through the forest, doing his food, campers left, right, and center. But yeah, they are, and this always confuses me with Jason X, the helicopter. I'm like, oh, helicopter time. That's oh no, that's later. But there's a helicopter in this one too. It's like the budget went up a little bit. Obviously, we're in the millions now. We can afford a helicopter.
Well, look, I did enjoy the opening of this film though, just because it very much tethered itself to part 3. Like it starts at the barn where Chris and Jason had their final, showdown, I guess, and he's still laying there with that axe in his head. Was it? Or no, it was removed by then. It was weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he was hanging, wasn't he? Last we saw Jason, he was hanging.
No. She hung him, and then he got off the rope, and then she axed him.
Oh,
So
that's
he was
right.
laying there with the axe, but it completely picks up at the barn, like the same set, like and
Which
it's
is
obviously look,
You know?
it actually gave, and there was a scene in the hospital then, like so they transferred Jason to the morgue, and all the bodies.
Very.
that he
I
killed.
wonder if this is sister hospitals with Haddonfield General. They hire the same
Possibly.
kind of people.
But
That
there's
was
a
my thought
scene in
too
this
when I was
film though
watching
where
it.
there's a girl crying in the corridor. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's Chris Higgins." This is like what I see in like chat rooms and whatever about it. They're like, "Oh, that's her, that's her, that's her," but it's never
They walk
actually.
past it. Yeah, they walk past the open door and she's crying.
Yeah. But we don't know if it's actually her. It could have been a family member of any one of the multiple people that were murdered.
Did it look like
So-
her from the back?
She had like the same,
Dark hair.
80s perm,
Well, look, I think that's if the writers are saying that's her, I think that's her. You know what I mean? Everyone can be like, "That's Chris. She's alive.
Yeah.
He can't be alive, but she can be." You know?
You can't be alive.
Well, this was one of the only films in the franchise where more than one person survives. So, did you consider that?
True. No. Later on, there's always multiple survivors, but at this
Right,
point,
but at this time,
yes.
At this point, we were very formulaic. It was very final girl.
Yes,
Final
there was
girl.
one
That's it.
final girl, and that was it.
they also had Tom Savini on the makeup, which,
Hmm.
in my
We're still
opinion,
doing-
and we'll delve into it, was one of their only good choices.
Yeah, look, there definitely. I think this is the final one. Irony, where the classic team kind of stuck together. I think.
Yep.
But let's not beat around the bush. The Harry Manfredi score does a lot of the heavy lifting in this movie. For
Absolutely.
especially for the kill scenes. I don't know whether it's the edit that I watched last night, but the kills are so quick cutaway in this that you're like, what happened? Like, if you're not paying attention, you're like, oh.
This was around the era
agree
though
with you.
where the MPAA was like, "Oh, you can't show death and
I
sex."
don't know if I've
in a
seen.
movie
I don't
together.
know if my DVD collection is different to the digital version that I've watched because I thought they lingered a bit longer.
Well, and that's
But who
unfortunate
knows?
because these are some really fun kills and they're really well done. Because again, we love Tom Savini, but yeah, I felt like it cut away too. I had that same thought, like this is happening really quick. You don't even get
Really,
to kind of like
yeah.
sit in the terror of it.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, it just happens, which is relevant and scary. Sometimes you don't need the
Well, no,
17-hour chase scene to get to there.
No, but there's some tact to it. There's a way to like not
Yeah,
sit
I agree.
in the door and sit in the chase.
But not everything
still-
not everything has to be a slow burn psychological thriller. You know, sometimes it's just a knife to the face. You're like, oh, that's upsetting. Moving
Yeah.
on.
But this was just like, oh, she did. Let's go.
Yeah.
Next scene.
But this, I think we're starting to get. Well, this is mid-80s, right? This is the high point for slasher
84?
horror. 84. You know,
I
all
think.
good things started in 83. 84, it was like
Yep, 84.
Yeah, so
we're rolling
83
through.
was Friday 3. So this was back when they were actually releasing these as
Turning
like
them
an
over.
annual. Yeah,
Yeah.
like this was an
Turning them
annual
over.
release
So
because they were making money.
And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Just because you can make it doesn't mean you should. I feel like a lot of these franchises drag things out way too long.
It's funny
Oh,
you
it's a
say
money
that though,
ma- there was
Katie,
also a
because
money
this
machine.
part 4 is one of the most highly regarded entries out of in the fan base. Like, you know, 4 and 6 are like they're rated as the 2, 4, and 6 are the ones that are rated as the best sequels.
Even numbers.
Really?
Yes.
We'll talk about that more at the end. We should talk a little bit about the movie. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
as I said, I think all of these horror movie nurses and doctors and like hospital staff go to the same
Yeah,
medical
why are they
school
all whores?
as sexual deviancy.
It was the 80s. They're
It was the
coked up and
80s.
horny.
It's very Police Academy. I don't. It just
That's
gives me
what I
that
thought. I
vibe.
was like, is this the right film? Like, it was
Yeah.
a little bit.
So Axel, by the way,
Axel.
whose name is Axel, and if she could say Axel a few more times, I think I'd be okay.
Mhm.
I think his name's Axel. Right?
Axel, quit it.
Axel the coroner
Corridor.
is coroner. You know, Jason gets wheeled in. We get the whole spiel. As we said, we see the mysterious crying girl, and Horn Dog Axel is trying to get his mitts into the nurse, but he gets a hacksaw first.
Yep.
Mhm.
Axel got the hacksaw.
And
hate
poor
you.
Nurse Morgan, poor Nurse. Oh my god, I think I had a stroke. Poor Nurse Morgan gets gutted with a scalpel. That's
Yeah.
ouchie wawas.
I mean, the job's killing her.
At least
I know.
it was sterile, you know.
We hope.
Are we?
We hope.
You know.
That's a lot of wrist strength to be able to lift someone with a scalpel and then gut them. Those
I think
biceps.
this
and
was
wrists.
post Halloween era too, where it's like, oh, let's like lift nurses up with knives in them, like it became a thing.
I mean, I believe that's a little more possible than I do in a Scream when the tiny little girl guts Dewey. I'm still mad about that, but
I don't know. I still think that's possible.
I don't think it is.
Well,
I
as
believe-
one
I
of the
believe the
people I watched
scalpel
that
over that.
Scream with, she had a bit of mongrel in her. She had it in her.
Yeah, she is a
That's
beast.
something.
You can't discount adrenaline, you know.
Okay.
And of course, it being Crystal Lake adjacent, the thing other than murders that they are prolific with is teenagers.
Yes.
Well,
Why is there so many though? Always like, I guess
teenagers.
it's a holiday
There's-
area.
There's some questionable ones in this group. So
Yeah,
we meet
no.
the 7,000th Paul
Teenagers
of
in
the
their
franchise.
30s.
Why are there so many Pauls in Crystal Lake as well?
You were saying
Paul.
that.
Paul.
You know what else I
Oh.
find upsetting
popular
is
name.
the 80s clothing. It's not fun like we all dress up as when we do
It's
our
real, but
costumes.
it's real 80s clothing.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
the
It's real
reality,
frumpy.
bitches.
It's real frumpy.
It's,
I was thinking
well,
of
it's the
twins-
reality.
I was thinking of the
Oh,
twins.
come on. The twins
plaid
had
shirt.
the off the shoulder number. They look hot.
I was thinking of the pink outfit where the pants made her ass look square and wide.
Yeah,
They
no,
like to wear a lot of,
pantsuits and stuff. There was no shape in them. It
a lot
was
of faux
very
satin.
triangular,
Mhm.
boxy.
A lot of faux satin, some like cut out floral designs. It's gorgeous. It's like, when are we going back to those looks, kids?
And not to
Let's bring back
mention,
that 80s.
everyone is getting laid. Everyone.
We're going to talk about it because We have Paul. Paul.
Oh.
His girlfriend Sam. Always, signature horror movie name. Sam. The most I'm sorry. The most annoying virgin in the fucking world.
Stop
Sarah.
it.
Why why are virgins so annoying?
Stop it. I actually like Sarah.
I
She was
kind of
didn't.
like
Sarah-
Sarah. too.
Sarah gave
Little
me
feisty.
the raspberry squirts. I couldn't deal with her. I was shitting blood because of Sarah. Okay.
That's
I'll leave
extreme.
her.
That's
Well, that's
extreme.
how
She
I
was
feel about
okay,
Sarah.
but like
Well,
she
she
was
wasn't.
actually. So this was like when they were turning the trope on its head a little bit. Like I think they were almost playing it like she may be the final girl. Like they were
Possibly.
flirting with that idea. Like she met she hit all the marks. She was a virgin.
We're still not
nice
there.
girl.
We're still not there at the end. We have her
Yeah,
boyfriend Doug. Her boyfriend Doug. So
Doug.
Sarah, her boyfriend Doug.
Excuse me.
Doug was very
And
pretty
then
too. We'll put up a
Jimmy,
photo of him later.
who just reminds me of every 80s dude. Oh yeah, Doug. Is Doug the guy from Bold and the Beautiful?
Possibly.
let's
He
see.
Was he
looks like
Bold
a
and the
Bold and the Beautiful
Was he
kind of stock.
Young and the Restless? I think he was in Young and the Restless or something.
His name
right?
is
Yeah.
Peter Barton.
Yeah, I'm pretty. He was in a daytime soap. I swear to God.
Named one of 10 sexiest guys in soaps by Playgirl. He
Yeah,
is
there
best
you go. He was
known
in a
as
soap.
Scott Granger.
From Young and the Restless. Scott and Lauren. Young and the
Bingo.
Restless. There we go. Got
Yeah.
it. See, I spent a
He
lot
had
of
the
time
look.
at my grandmother's house as a child in the 90s. There we go. Yeah, he was very pretty in this. But
Yeah.
we get the comic relief duo of the pair, Jimmy and Ted. Now, Ted, you wouldn't know to look at, is someone quite, famous, someone quite
Oh, wait. It's Jimmy,
notable.
right?
You said
No.
Jimmy?
Ted. Chris
Yeah,
Glover.
Jimmy. You said Ted.
Clever.
Chris, well, this is what the. Oh, sorry, other way around. Jimmy.
Jimmy
Yep,
is
Jimmy.
Crispin Glover. Yep.
Jimmy's Crispin Glover. He looks good.
He does.
Put him
Yeah.
up.
Good. It was a
Put him up.
good look. No, because I want to talk about that scene later.
Okay, no, I've
That
got 2
specific
photos
scene.
of it.
I don't see 2. I only see 1.
Okay.
There's only 1 I can see.
Okay.
Sometimes they don't like. I've noticed that with StreamYard lately. When you upload things, the last couple don't work. So you've got to do it in small
beautiful.
batches. Yeah, it's
Yep.
fun for me, especially when we do live shows like this, and you go, "I know that it's there, it's not." So yeah, Crispin Glover was quite handsome as a young blonde before he became creepy thin man. And then
And
talk
he was
about
quite this was like kind of the era now where they were bringing in people that were actually actors, because prior to this, it was like
were they?
Well, so is
We'll talk about
Crispin
that.
Glover
People who
and
had
Peter Barton the star power in
aspirations.
this? Like,
I think
are
so.
those the big names? Because Corey Feldman wasn't a thing yet, was he? No,
No.
Stand By Me had come out. Didn't
Yeah,
it?
look, it was the big. I think all of that happened at the same time. I think the Feldman was. We'll get to the
When did-
Feldman.
Was this before Gremlins or after?
I think this is all very, very, very similar.
Like
You know how
shot back
people,
to back.
just, well, back in the day, used to just shoot movie after
It was
movie
the
after
same
movie
year.
after movie. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it all happens.
Oh
It
no,
all
Stand
happened
By
at the
Me
same
didn't come out yet.
Hi,
Chris.
Christopher. Live, we are live. It's exciting times. Yeah, I feel like it was one of those ones that I recorded. I filmed this movie in January. I did this movie in May, and then I did this movie, and then they all just happened to be released around the same time because Corey Feldman's, star power
Starting
was
to blow
revealed,
up. Yep.
and they're like, "I've got a movie with him. Let's go, smash it out."
So within 3 years, it was this movie, Gremlins, the next Friday the 13th, Goonies, Stand By Me, Lost Boys. He was blown
Yeah.
up.
He was a busy kid. He was a busy, and that's without the other stuff he was doing with the other Corey.
Right.
He was doing other movies, so he was a busy kid. But yeah, so our teenagers, are there, but we also meet Tommy Jarvis, who we said, the young Corey Feldman,
Mm-hmm.
star of the movie,
Kind of. Like, look,
arguably.
his character, Tommy Jarvis, became... Look, he's one of the carryovers. He's in 3 films. Like, he's
Arguably the
he's
star
part
of the movie.
He's embedded in the lore now.
Controversial opinion. I could give 2 shits about mysteriously old teenager Trish Jenner,
Oh, his sister? Yeah.
who
Who
looks
cares?
like her mother's sister when they're jogging around the lake.
But she was hot, man. No,
Yeah,
she had some pins.
Let's
her legs.
talk about,
like, there's a scene at the end,
let's talk
and
about
I'm like,
short change. Let's talk about short change. Poor Mrs. Jenner. She got short change out of this. She deserved a death scene, not going, oh.
Wait, you mean poor Mrs. Jarvis?
Jarvis,
Who the
whatever.
fuck's Jenner? Caitlyn
Chris Jenner. Yeah, Chris Jenner.
Jenner.
Poor Mrs. Jarvis.
I gotta be honest. I didn't really give a shit about anyone in this movie. I was rooting for
Really?
kids.
I actually think this is one of the more solid entries. Like, part 3
you're the
is my
fan of
favorite
this
just for
friend.
the camp factor, and I
You're
love
the fan
like
of this
everyone here
franchise,
hates
so
Chris.
I expect you to find something that you love. So which is admirable.
This
like
one
that.
hits a lot of slasher tropes that some of the subsequent sequels sort of miss. This has a great, well, we'll get into it, but it has a great final sequence. And
I thought this movie might be more interesting if we did follow Tommy a bit more and made it like Halloween 4-ish.
When you told
a child's perspective on what it's like to be chased by a monster,
But I think these are 2 different killers, though, because Jason,
I know, but I would
Tommy
like to
was
see
never his target, and he really, I don't think.
Well, he had to ponder. He did ponder. There's that
but I
scene
don't think he would have went out of his way to kill Tommy. It was just because he was there.
I mean, I got to be honest. When you told me this is one of like the most highly rated in the community, I gotta wonder why. I mean, I like bad movies. That's kind of my thing. But this wasn't even so bad that it was like fun.
Oh, they get worse, but they get worse.
They do, but they're fun as they go on. Like,
are they?
I think they kind of are. I think they've got that kind of so bad they're good quality. But this one's just bad. Like, I could not. It could not keep my attention.
It was okay. I remember it being better.
I disagree with Katie.
I remember it being
till the end.
I remember it being better. That's all I'm gonna say. I remember it being better than it was when I watched it last night. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what it is. But I think if there is justice for anyone, I want justice for Mrs. Jarvis. I think there is one highly underrated character that I think could carry her own prequel movie, if not series. Banana Girl.
Wasn't she billed as like the fat hitchhiker?
You're a day player when they won't even let you like swear at the people that that are denying you a hitchhiking. They won't even. She's not allowed to say anything until she gets stabbed, and then it's like a gurgle. That bitch is not getting paid. She's not getting paid. She wanted to go to Canada.
But you know what? She's one of those characters that goes down in history, though, because she was a little bit different to the regular victim in this era. Yeah, she wasn't. She was a little bit more homely than some of the other girls in the film, and she kind of had that little bit of an edge to her that she was. Yeah, she just didn't meet the criteria for the usual cast for this kind of movie. So
yeah, they didn't want to fuck her, so they didn't pick her up.
Yeah.
I always said that if I was ever going to be in a horror movie, that I really wanted to have a
girl.
I would want to have a really memorable death, like iconic, or I just want a really gruesome one. Like I don't need to stick around.
Maybe that could be your Halloween costume. You could be Banana Girl. Just walk around with it. See how many people know who you are.
Oh, I already promised a little someone I'd be Peppa Pig. I could be dead Peppa Pig.
Peppa.
You could be hitchhiking banana girl Peppa Pig.
If Peppa Pig was the hitchhiker in Friday
Right?
the
I know.
13th.
So
Poor.
question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
What's the Jarvis's dog's name?
Gordon.
Because they said it 20 times. Gordon's a good actor, though. Gordon's on his cues. I love it when Gordon gets out of the car. He's like, "Oh, this way."
Yeah, he was like Bouncer in Neighbours. He knew what he was there for. He knew the assignment.
Gordon was arguably the best part of the movie.
Gordon, he's very cute, very good looking.
He's the goodest boy.
He is the goodest boy. Poor Gordon.
Yeah, we'll talk about Gordon later during his possible. We don't really know.
Possible death scene for Gordon.
We don't really know.
I'd like to think that Gordon just saw all these teenagers getting slaughtered and said, "Peace.
Peace, I'm out. Yeah, I'm dipping. See you later."
Bye-bye.
Speaking of dipping, horny teenagers in the forest. Of course, it's the 80s. We're going to run into off-the-shoulder twins.
No, that was one of their better looks. That was one of their better looks.
I'm sorry. These girls were hot. They were hot. They were hot to trot.
Okay, so I was watching that outfit. I'm like, are we going to see a little nipple there? Like, it's getting awfully close.
It was the 80s, mate. No bras, off the shoulder.
No problem.
You know, I was expecting a bit of crit, but they left that out.
There we go.
They were good value. And you know what? Who doesn't want to stick like hot twins into your movie?
It just seems to be a very 80s season. Twins, like
yeah. It was after the movie with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger come out.
What's that? Twins. Okay.
It probably wasn't actually. This is probably prior.
No, wasn't that the 90s? Like the early.
No, it was late 80s.
Oh, we'll have to check that another time.
Yeah, we'll have to fact check it.
We'll fact check you later, Luke.
Obligatory skinny dipping scene.
It's never an 80s movie without a little skinny dip.
Right.
Still not my favorite skinny dip.
I don't think it would have been as cute in the 80s when you skinny dip because I don't think people did as much maintenance back then. So it'd be a lot
No, but the thing is, this was the 80s pretending to be the 70s, remember?
Mm-hmm.
If we're doing timeline,
huge pubic mounds.
Yeah, it would have been like a vestibule of pubes everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I just don't think the self-care was up to the standard I would like it to be around that era.
The one thing I do like about this movie, and again, it's Corey Feldman related, is his reaction when sexy things are happening. Like when he's going to bed and he notices across the way that there's sexy times happening, his like little boy reaction, he's like, there's something happening. And then he tries to get a look at the skinny dippers, and Trish is like, "No, I'm 47. Don't look."
The best skinny dip scene in a movie is still the opening sequence in Jaws. Fight me on that.
You know what, Steve? How are you going to interview Kimberly Beck if I ever get her on the show? And you say
because it's the I know what it is. It's the makeup and the hair, because when she's wet at the end, when it's raining, she looks like a teenager.
Yep.
It's not her fault.
Look, 80s
I'm not saying that she's old. I'm just saying
their idea of sexing up
a
woman was like overly aging them.
Yeah.
You know, big shoulder pads, big hair.
They all look older at that age, like in that era. I remember looking at my mother's senior photo, and I think she graduated in 1976. She looked 40, and it's not like saying she looked bad. She was young, but they look older.
I'm gonna use Barb in Stranger Things.
Oh, Bob, he didn't deserve what he got either.
Barb. Someone, she looks 65, and she's supposed to be a teenager, like. A teenager. Like, she's supposed to be 15, and she looks like she runs the local library.
She like Andrea from 90210.
Yeah. All of this used to be orange groves. Yes, Andrea. Bless.
I really just think, I don't know what it is about the time, but it's like,
maybe it was maturity is sexy and it was power. I don't know. It was power. It was like the 80s. It was power suits and shoulder pads and
it could
severity.
It could be the severe makeup
No
because it was either like
knickers.
really severe makeup that made you look older, or you were wearing stuff that made you look like your grandmother, and that made you look old.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I don't know.
we got naked.
We
You know,
digress.
Tommy tried to see Tartars and it didn't work out. Let's talk about the rough upbringing of the Jarvis kids.
What was going on there?
How does he
That
know
shit
how to
mother.
how does he know how to fix a car?
Yeah, I love that.
She's
Like,
like,
can you fix
fix the car. I'm like, you're 47, you should know.
Like,
Like,
you've got this 12-year-old trying to fix the carburetor transfer.
oh, the
Are these all
solenoid.
parts? I don't know, but I just at 12 years old, I could barely pump gas.
Right? Exactly. And if we're going to talk about bad acting, out of nowhere, Rob, another Rob. There's lots of Robs and Pauls in this movie, this franchise. Rob. Yeah, a young man named Rob Dyer
Mm-hmm.
emerges from the forest.
That's not creepy or
Random.
anything.
I think they really undersold that too. Like, if we were to. Okay, here's the thing, right? So Jason escapes.
Okay.
Shouldn't we, if the idea that Jason is out there, shouldn't we get perspective shots of him stalking stuff like the original movies that we confuse with Rob? That's what they want us to think. They want us to go, oh, someone's lurking in the forest. Is it Rob or is it Jason? It's just really badly done. Because they do it later on when she goes to look for Rob in the forest.
Well, we got to give Rob's backstory here too. The reason he's
But
there
they don't until too late in the movie.
later. Yeah, I know.
No one
but the reason
cares.
he's
Like,
there.
But there's a
introduced.
We can say it now because everyone who's watching this surely has seen this film. Like, it's only been out for 40 years.
That's why we're doing it. That's why
Yeah.
we're doing it, because it's being re-released in cinemas because it's the anniversary this year,
Yeah.
so it's being
So-
re-released in cinemas.
So he is Sandra's brother. So Sandra was the girl that was copping at missionary in the bed in part 2, and then copped a spear as well through her. So she was penetrated twice.
double penetration. Ooh,
She was double P.
Or it was
Are
the
you
fun
supposed to say
thing
that?
to do.
So his sister was murdered in part 2. So this is all in the same weekend too. So it's kind of like,
Yeah,
when
how
did
did he
get the
know
notice?
so quickly?
Yeah.
How did he How did he find out so quickly when it was just phones? B, have time to do all of that research that he has with him.
And C,
Right.
how come the police weren't everywhere if this serial killer had escaped the hospital, the morgue, and there's all these dead bodies over the last 2 days? Why weren't there police combing the whole area?
Because they're busy.
Okay, to your point, my thought was if we're going to try to make this plausible, well, two things. Let me backtrack. You said that why didn't we get more shots of Jason kind of stalking around the woods? I think there's a very fine line to do that, because we saw, and this is controversial and I'm going to say it, and In a Violent Nature was shit. It was boring. It was cool that we saw it from the perspective of the killer. That's great. But there's only so much you can do when you're going first person, right? You can't
I felt
jazz
the
it up
movie got
enough.
better when it switched up that Violent Nature to the Final Girl's perspective. I was like, oh, okay, now it's a bit interesting, but it was a shit movie. You're right.
So there's my point with okay, let's get some shots, but let's not spend the whole time being in that perspective because it's a little dull. Next, with Rob, my thought is, if we're going to make this plausible at all, maybe obviously he's a local. Maybe he just had this conversation with the police and now he's heading out into woods to find
show
him.
that.
No, that's true. They should
that's
show
what
that.
that's what I'm saying. Instead of giving us Banana Girl and random
No, let's
dead
keep
fuck
Banana Girl.
jokes, and mum and
No.
grandma running around the lake. Go, don't we have a cool
Mum and
relationship?
grandma. So mum is Trish and grandma is the mum, right?
You heard me. You heard me.
No, I agree that
Like
a little more backstory would
someone
make you care
take
about them
control of
more.
this script and go, okay, but again,
Someone
it wasn't.
give the cast
It's
some
not a who done.
Botox.
It's not a who done it anymore either.
Right.
Like we know that the killer's Jason. But I'm just saying for the characters in the movie, it would have made a bit more sense that they were that there was some kind of fear there, because this all happens out of the blue, but we're kind of expecting it anyway. I don't know. I think I'm getting sidetracked about semantics.
Yeah.
Anyway, murders start to happen, thank God. They have a party, a weird party.
Yeah, look, it was the 80s party that no one really got along. It was weird. Yeah. There was, I don't think we can blame the era for this. It just didn't go well.
Every party I went to in high school. But anyways.
But also part of the best dance scene captured on film.
No, disagree. That would be.
Come on.
It's
That's
good.
A choice. That's a choice.
I mean,
what was going on? Like, that twin was hot, man. I see what you mean. Like, those ill-fitting pants, that man shirt. Like, what the heck?
I mean, that's how I dance after a few drinks too. So,
like, that was it was the proto Elaine.
Yes.
That one.
Yes.
Yes.
Proto Elaine Bennis. That, like, Seinfeld. They obviously watched this movie for Seinfeld.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, come on. Yeah.
Well, look, this is one of those scenes that, like, people who don't like these movies still sort of, and, like, they know who Crispin Glover is. This is something that they will bring up. Like, oh, yeah, the dance scene. Like, I've heard that over the years. So whatever he did here made him a little bit memorable in Hollywood. Let's
talk about Sam.
Yeah. Let's talk about Sam.
Why? When she, of course. And why does everyone... Okay. Everything that I've heard about swimming in lakes, you don't want to be in there naked to start with, because there's like...
You do if you want some dick. No, I'm actually going to back to Sam right now. She knew what she wanted, mate. She was out for a bit of D, and she had a banging body, so why wouldn't you get in naked?
Why wouldn't you just go bang?
Yeah, no, because
there's the chase
Sherry or whatever.
You got to
Sherry or whoever it was trying to fuck her boyfriend.
But think of all the things in the lake that are just going to crawl up there.
Quiche, thank you. It's
unsanitary.
You two are so boring. So you both have
boring.
never skinny dipped ever.
I have skinny dipped plenty of times.
I have,
never in a lake.
But not in a lake.
Thank you.
Ugh.
And then we saw what happens when you skinny dip in the ocean.
And not alone.
Snacky snack.
Not alone.
No, never alone.
Alone in a lake?
Ew.
No.
Ew. No, you don't.
No.
You don't.
No.
And then you end up giving awkward tongue as you die. And
then as you're going down, you're like, oh, the lake water's so gross.
Maybe that's why her tongue came out. She's like, the lake water's in my piece. My piece is slowly filling with lake water.
Vaginosis.
I was just going to say that. Vaginosis on my way out.
I really hope that that's the clip from today's show. The lake water is filling my piece. That has to be it. Right?
I'll make it happen.
It has to be. I mean, come on. She gets penetrated from under the raft. Paul.
Yes.
Paul the 67th, whoever he is. Harpooned in the groin. This is very like, let's not have sex, kids, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of penetration in this scene, and not for the right reasons.
In the groin, though. Oh, that's some Freudian shit going on there.
Yeah.
Like, don't pierce me with your piercer, or I'll pierce your back.
Yeah, there's that.
Well, I don't know. Well, actually, it would kill you because you'd bleed out.
Definitely, because
you'd
bleed out.
Death.
What if he hits like the
Well, there's a lot of blood flow in your genitalia.
Inner thigh is the way to go, babes. They can't save you. It's all over.
Yep. So he's dead.
Girl interrupted. Terry tries to leave the party early after calling her sister a slut.
This is the twins, right? We've got to. Yeah. So
Jason
there's the
stabs
twins.
her with a spear from somewhere.
Yeah, actually, I enjoyed that scene because it was like just a shadow, and you could see her like getting smashed. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
And look,
like,
I would say I feel sorry for Mrs. Jarvis, but this is what happens when you exercise.
When you're old.
I'm sorry, Miss Jarvis. Oh,
Miss Jarvis, if you're jogging around the lake, I'm jogging around the lake and it's raining. Fuck you. You deserve it.
Now I think we're victim shaming here.
I am victim shaming.
Actually, so we actually don't see Mrs. Jarvis die. She was an off-screen kill.
And that's what I mean. She deserved better. She was a good actress. I enjoyed her. You could see her doing that. I'm a concerned mother. Like, she did a lot of that face.
So there's actually a cut scene. We can talk about that at the end with
where she dies. Okay.
No, it's about the discovery of her. But
I say you might as well just talk about it because what happens?
Talk about it now.
Okay, so she's an off-screen kill, right, in this film, so we don't actually see what happens to her. But in there's a deleted scene where Trish, the daughter, who's 47, according to Steve, finds grandma.
Not by now because she's wet.
Mum.
Not now because she's wet. She looks like a teenager.
She's actually been drowned in the bathtub. Like, she's dead in the bathtub. So whatever the fuck Jason did to her.
So
he moved her from outside up into the top story of that house and drowned her.
Okay, I was going to ask, was she like getting back and taking a bath after her run, or did he drag her?
No. She's fully clothed in her running clothes. So he'd actually dragged her upstairs and drowned her. So she'd actually gone through some shit.
Wouldn't that have been a better shot, though?
Would have been better.
Sorry?
Wouldn't that have been a better use of the movie, though, to watch him grab her and drag her inside the house?
Absolutely.
Because Luke, seriously,
slam the door.
What happens in this movie besides teenagers going skinny dipping, having sex, and getting killed?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it's terrible.
That's why, like, I feel like it was such a missed opportunity with that scene because they obviously went for a different ending. See, this was the original ending where Trish actually found her mum, and then Jason came back the next morning.
That would have been the whole thing. Like, is that like when I'm talking about more Feldman, the idea that no one can save you, you have to save yourself. Like, if they were to find their mother dead. That raises the stakes for them again. Like,
they could have taken this a million different ways.
This was the era, though. I think they cut all of whatever happened to Mrs. Jarvis because this was the era where, like, oh, you can't show like someone's mum getting killed. Like the MPAA was big, like a slutty teen, show them getting gutted, but not someone's mum.
Okay. This is just
okay. Well, it's all Gordon's fault. She dies anyway. So
no, we don't blame the goodest boy. Nope.
Well, she's looking for Gordon and saying Gordon about 17 times.
I don't care. You don't blame the goodest
boy. What
boy.
was the dog's name again?
Gordon.
I think it was Gordon.
Okay.
Zordon. Zordon the dog.
Zordon.
Trish and Tommy arrive home and Mum's missing. So, you know, the obvious thing is to go look for some random stranger in the forest. With no umbrella.
Ella.
Like, these people allegedly live there, right? They know the weather. Why does she not have wet weather gear?
I mean, to be fair, I venture out all the time without.
No, the Jarvises live there.
Yeah, they live there.
She says we're here all the time.
On holiday.
The teenagers are renting the cabin next door or the house next door. The Jarvises live there.
Yeah, because they said it would be nice to have some company.
Yeah, and he says, I didn't think anyone lived this far out. And she said, we do.
Yep, she did say that.
We've lived here for 17 years. Yeah. Anyway, she starts to look teenage now that she's getting... And who's running around in a shirt dress?
The wetter she gets... The wetter she gets, the younger she looks.
That sounds like it. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Youthful, Jewy youthfulness, you know. So we do find out that Crispin Glover isn't a dead fuck.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do love where's the corkscrew in your fucking hand. And then meat cleaver to the
look, there's
face.
a good kill sequences here,
At
though.
least,
like,
at least he
there's-
got laid. Yeah, this is where it hit.
Yeah.
It hit its stride. At least he got laid. Like,
Yeah, look.
so many times in this, especially in this franchise, like they're about to and they get murdered, or they're post coitus they get murdered. At least poor Crispin Glover died knowing that he wasn't a dead fuck.
And
Wasn't
Katie,
he
I
just
think this is
watching
the reason
porn
why
prior to that?
people like this film is there's a little bit more brutality in this one. Like the Savini kills are great, but then what Jason does with the bodies after, like Crispin Glover cops a cleaver to the head, and then he nails his corpse to an exit.
To be
As
fair, they couldn't do them without Savini.
No, they couldn't. But I think it was a little bit more. There was a little bit more savageness to this film.
This movie was never as savage as denying that poor guy in the wheelchair the puss that he had so well deserved, and then to kill him, and send him flying backwards down the hill. That's some fucked up shit.
And plot twist, he was actually a gay man who really didn't even want her anyway, so he died for nothing.
Didn't even get that dick. I mean, come on.
Well, Luke, being the nerd you are for this franchise, did you know that Tom Savini only agreed to do this film if they killed Jason off for good?
I don't doubt it. And it was kind of at the point now, like it was becoming a cash cow. I felt it was already fluctuating with the quality. I think the first film knew what it was and it did it well. The second film followed on well. 3 did something weird. 4 now is sort of, it was already a cash cow at this point. They didn't care about quality anymore. It was just
they
put
certainly
the name on
didn't
it, it'll make money.
care. They certainly didn't care about windows in this movie either. That was savage. That was pretty savage. Tina flying through that window and landing on the car. Oh,
so she's post coitus as well. Did she actually
that looked like
orgasm?
It hurt.
Did she orgasm?
So she was
coitus.
Well, just
she said he was great.
Well, just like Nurse Morgan said, she's done faking orgasms for these men.
Yeah. And so she's like looking at, didn't she see her sister's bike outside, her twin sister's bike? So she's like, my sister's still here.
Did we miss an opportunity there with the bikes? To have someone's head on a spinning wheel or something?
Yes!
Like, come on.
That would have been good.
Yeah,
like find your sister with the bike jammed up her or something. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
Seat.
Yeah, they're missing a seat.
Or just had her corpse sitting, like she looked out and saw her dead sister on the bike. That would have been
pretty cool. That would have been
but that stunt looked like it hurt. Her like hitting that car. I'm like,
it was a
that
doll.
One looked like it.
I've got to. Yeah, no. So they actually threw a mannequin. So she got chucked first, like they grabbed her through the glass. And it was a mannequin that actually hits the car, so you can actually see.
It looked like it hurt. Yeah. I was like, "Oh fuck!"
Oh yeah, no, it got like flung into the.
I did car. I did like Ted's death scene. I did like Ted's death scene with the knife, little machete through the screen as well.
Did you find Ted hot, Steve?
Ted was annoying.
He was annoying. Did you find him attractive?
Annoying.
No.
What about you, Katie? Did he moisten the hinterlands?
Ted was very for those of us that are old enough. Ted was giving me big Joey Jeremiah from
yes,
Degrassi High.
But that's kind of what I go for.
Jeremiah,
Joey Jeremiah from Degrassi, yeah.
Everybody wants something, they'll never give up.
I don't know.
Everybody wants something, they'll take my day. Is it Remedy, everyone? Maybe we should do a Degrassi High recap series.
Whatever.
Could you imagine?
I don't
know if I've got that much time.
You've been fucking Tessa Campanelli. Remember how dramatic that was when they said "fuck" on Jurassic High?
I know, on the movie. That was the TV movie, wasn't it?
Oh, school's out. You've been fucking Tessa Campanelli, Caitlin. Oh. Senti Mistinson, I really want you on the podcast. You never answer my messages. Stacey, please. Had such a crush on her when I was a child.
Did you?
Confusing time. Yeah.
You weird
on,
gay
Caitlin,
person.
yeah. Caitlin.
I think we all like Caitlin, though.
My primary school girlfriend looked a lot like her, actually.
Now, are we talking original
Hi,
Degrassi, or are we talking Degrassi?
No, original. Original.
Okay.
Original.
Yeah, it was before
original.
Katie's time. Don't upset her.
I'm not that much younger than you.
She's not that much younger than us, dude. She was still on.
Yeah.
So everyone's pretty much dead now. Except for the fucking except for the most annoying except for the most annoying version in the world.
Stop.
Like a virgin.
Hi, look at my hair.
Look at how baggy my panties are in the peach area.
Listen,
It's like,
I love the 80s hair like that, all the feathered and the bangs and the. I love that. I'm gonna bring it back.
Why is are you gonna walk around in panties that are too big in the crotch? Be like,
I can make this happen.
That wasn't the panties. It maybe her pubic banging.
No, she thinks she's banging. She's like,
Hey.
it looks like she shit herself backwards.
Like that scene in Ace Ventura. Was it?
Oh, that would never fly today.
Oh dear. Anyway, anyway, this bitch dies.
We just killed her.
I did like this. I thought this was cool. This was very dramatic / graphic.
Yeah, it was awful. He was a very pretty boy too, and they gave him the most brutal death.
He was the most attractive member of the gang.
Yeah,
I would have appreciated. He made the drop the soap joke as well. It's like, oh, I think he was ready to take anyone that was coming into that shower.
Listen, love is love is love is love is love. There's a lot of love to go around. Let him have it.
He's one of those straight boys that jokes about having like man on man action, but would totally do it. Any hole's a goal, I can tell.
No, he was in love with the virgin. Stop it.
No, he's already had her. Do you reckon they had sex in the shower?
It's difficult. I'm barely
especially for her first time.
Yeah, but
I guess
at least
it washes away any
clean away stuff.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
no, because I remember they had sex first, and then they had the shower because then they were kissing, and like I remember the ass squishing on the shower screen.
I mean, I'm barely over 5 feet tall, so this is almost not. This is almost not possible.
Yeah, like they've got to have a good match.
Katie needs leverage.
Right.
She needs a stool.
You know what you need? You know what you need? You need those little feet prints in the bathtub. The non-slip stuff.
Katie comes running into the shower, go, "Where's me gold?"
Leprechaun was better than this movie. At least it had more.
I don't know.
Substance.
I don't know. I don't know.
Make you watch the second one for St. Patrick's Day. Make me.
Sarah's fucking axe was pretty harsh though too. Sarah gets axed in the fucking thorax.
Yeah. So she got split in half after she got split in half.
Damn,
it was terrible. She lost her hymen and her life on the same day.
It wasn't even. I felt her breastbone crack. I felt her breastbone crack as that fucking thing went in. I was like, that's intense. That was intense.
So Sarah was. We'll explain to people because obviously they're listening as well. She was like trying to escape from Jason, rattling with the door, and he was actually on the other side of the door.
Yeah, I mean, she gave it a good run. I understand why they saved her for last. She had a good scream. She was running around well, but that mate, it's like breaking the best breastbone of a chicken or something. It's like
that axe just come flying through that door and just whack. She was done.
Right up.
This may make me a sociopath, but
just this. Okay,
one of the many qualities I have that may make me a sociopath.
Yeah.
When people get like axed in the chest, because it happens in more movies than this one, just that sound of the breastbone cracking. It's very satisfying.
Well, it's like when you finally get the breastbone of a chicken or a turkey. That like, yeah, motherfucker.
Okay, like I said, this may make me a sociopath.
And something. I think it's something primal. Something primal within the human that needs to hear that cracking sound. It's like.
Oh,
Yeah, I have killed my prey. I mastered my
there goes
domain,
the
etc.
wishbone.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, Rob, Trish. Oh wait, the recap says Rob, Trish, and Gordon go next door to investigate.
Gordon's
teen
dead
body.
at this point, right?
Gordon is not dead.
Gordon's-
He escaped.
No, Gordon's with them. Gordon runs away when he's like, "Fuck this, I'm out." When he sees all the bodies, Gordon is out.
Gordon's done. No, thank you.
I think the most iconic part of this movie has to be, and probably a sign of where the franchise is heading.
Mm-hmm.
Help! He's killing me. Help! He's killing me.
But there's another movie that does that. It happened pretty recently.
It was a really bad death scene, and it goes
He's
down.
killing me. Obviously,
Yeah,
dude.
he's like describing the whole thing. Oh, I'm being stabbed. Oh. Like he's
It's
crying
kind
out,
of like
"He's killing
scary
me."
movie. It's kind of like scary movie.
It was almost like satire at that point. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Right.
And he was meant to be the tough guy that was there
Yeah.
to like fight
He's
Jason,
killing me.
and he just went to shit real quick. But I guess
I'm gonna give him a pass on this because when you're in shock and
getting
there's a
killed,
lot of adrenaline running through you, you can't really help what's coming out of your mouth here.
Well, that's probably what fucking what's the name? Sam should have said. Help! The lake water. It's in my fridge.
It's gone up my urethra.
Oh, the smell! The smell!
The smell. Is that a tadpole? Oh. Anyway, Tommy and Trish barricade
We're
themselves in
going
the
to
house.
hell.
Of course,
Yeah, we
Jason does a signature smashy smash through a window, grabs the Feldman.
Yeah.
Matt. This negates before. I don't think he was. You said he wasn't really after Corey Feldman. Then why is he grabbing him?
Oh, he was quite happy to
Going
kill
after
him,
anything that
but
breathes.
he wasn't. I don't think he would have targeted Tommy if he was on his own.
Nope.
I can do
Because
that
he
too,
threw-
Steve. I can do that
He
too.
threw Rob. I must Rob the walking script through the window with his machete or whatever lunged in his head. So he could already get in. Why then go after the Feldman if you had an intention to kill the kid? If you didn't have any intention to kill him, why grab him? Why not just come through the window that was already broken?
Body count.
Snap the Feldman. Snap him.
It
Snap
doesn't
the
have to
Feldman.
make sense. They're going for the body count.
I'm just arguing my point. That's all.
I-
Anyway,
No,
running
I do agree
upstairs,
with his
running
point.
downstairs.
I think Jason would kill children. I don't
Yeah.
see why he wouldn't. But
Well, any
there's
of these
this
killers would
big
kill
argument in the
children.
fandom that he doesn't because
This is where
that weird
this
scene
is
in
where
part
Trish.
6.
This is where Trish shines. I think that they didn't give her enough to do at the beginning, but final girl material running around, like screaming, wet, doing all
And
the things.
this is what I wanted to say. She was fucking hot too.
When
she
got wet, she got hot.
Yeah, she was really. I find
biology.
her. She's one of the best final girls because she.
What I
is
don't
good.
understand
Okay.
is throwing yourself out that window.
Fear. No, I get that bit entirely. Like, if you're that terrified, like, you'd rather just kill yourself than let him kill
And
you.
also, what I don't get
I agree with that.
is she there?
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you. I love you.
What I don't get is also the rapid squishiness of the ground at Crystal Lake.
Well, it was a mattress set.
I
Stop
know.
it. They had to do
One of the
stunts.
most obvious like moments. I did like the repercussions of fucked up Trish in the mud going, "Oh, that was fucked." Like stumbling back into the house. That's what you want to see though in this shit. If people are throwing themselves through windows and stuff, you want to see them fucked up and how they keep going, not, "Oh, I've been stabbed, I can still run." Like, you want to see the injured form still fight back. That's the whole point of a horror movie, right? You want to see fucked up Trish go, "Oh, I got a little bit of concussion. Where's my grandma mum gone? I don't know what's happening anymore. How old am I?" She's so
47.
confused. You know. Anyway, I do like that. You know, when she was she knew Jason was still there.
Mm-hmm.
She's like with the machete. That was cool. She was smart. She wasn't a dumb bitch. I appreciate that. You know, she's still chopping away, still doing the thing. He's going after her rock solid. Like he's just not gonna go. And you know what Corey Feldman decides? Now would be a really great time
For a
for a
haircut.
makeover.
Yep.
Here's my
Gonna give
question
myself
to
a
you
haircut.
as we watch the Jarvises fight with for each other. Would you fight that hard for your sibling?
Absolutely. Especially if there was that age difference. Like, I understand completely where Trish was coming from. Like, she was it. That was like, that was her little brother. She was it. She had to really step up. And that's why I think she was as aggressive as she was.
Jeff just gives a solid no.
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 He's consistent.
Yeah, no, absolutely you would in that kind of
He's
situation. And
consistent.
there was no security. Rob was dead. Mum was dead. Like,
she's doing the job, but I think again, maybe we could have had a bit more of her. Like we got a little bit of her being overprotective, but maybe a bit more, I guess, play up on the no dad situation. It requires better writing.
I mean,
yes, or just putting back in a lot of cut scenes. I think there's like a TV cut of this too, where there's a lot more character scenes because they couldn't show the deaths.
Sense. You know,
yeah,
should make sense.
Like if you shoot something, why cut it out? For pacing when if the narrative doesn't make sense anymore.
So Tommy is, I guess, trying to get must study child psychology and goes, Jason, remember, Jason, remember. He becomes a member berry. Jason, remember? Remember your mother, Jason, remember?
Luke.
Yeah.
Jeff is asking if there's a whole other cut.
There is a TV cut.
I think essentially it's I think it's like there's a director. Isn't there like a director's cut as well that's quite different?
I'll have to have a look. I don't know. I can't qualify that.
I'm pretty sure it's in that latest box set. You know, the new one that came out.
Yep.
They found a whole heap of stuff, and they did like a jerry-rigged another sequel, like another version of, kind of like what they did with the director's cut of Halloween 6. You know how they took all the stuff out, and it's essentially a different movie. It's like, oh, okay,
a better movie.
I think we should have maybe whatever it was. They should have maybe. This should have been the movie about a family fighting back, as opposed to another one. You know what I mean? I don't know. Just me. I don't know. That would have made it different. But Tommy saves his sister. You know, he goes hard. He goes hard and doesn't go home. He gets the hack on. Look at the Feldman.
Oof.
Yep. So he shaved his head, confused Jason, and then swung that machete into his head
several times.
Yep. Yeah. And Trish was all messed up from it because her little brother had gone crazy.
But you know what? Thank God she found a blow dryer at the hospital.
Because what would you have done?
My perm's back on point.
I got a fucking perm while I was getting stitched up. Like, hello. I was fixing my rickety hip. I was fixing my rickety. Oh no. The only problem was her shoulder, remember? They're like,
did you I got a fucking perm.
Jeff said, let's just write one in our plethora of spare time. There are a ton of horror movies that I think I could write better.
Imagine geriatric Friday the 13th, just with all the old survivors.
The nursing home.
One thing you can't
Jason
run from is
slides over and someone's shit as he's chasing her.
The one thing you can't run from is sugar diabetes because it takes your feet first.
That's so bad. That's not. No.
Anyway, you know, we're led to so Jason's dead because his fucking head slid down the machete like a fucking overcooked chicken. Like, but we're led to believe that the Feldman is now, like, you know, evil.
New
Right?
killer. Yep.
Like that's
We actually got to wrap this up real quick too, so we got over and my battery's about to go flat.
Yeah, wide-eyed stare. I'm a killer now. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get to our ratings.
Come on, Luke. You love it. You go first.
How many? What are we rating in? Like dead fucks?
How many? No, how many?
How many undiagnosed yeast infections?
Yeah. How much lake water up the piece do you give this?
I give this one. Look, I know Katie's not a fan, and I can see why. Like I look at these films and I can see exactly what they are. They're not great films, but I have such great fun watching them. And I think this one hit a lot of the marks. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 bacterial vaginosis infections.
Liters of water up your piece.
Yes.
Your rating is
4 out of 5.
Terrible.
I actually think it's a very solid entry. It's a great film.
Katie McCarthy.
2.5
liters of water.
saggy panties.
There we go.
Uninspired. I really don't care about any of those characters except Gordon. The kills were cool, but we didn't get enough time with them. Yeah. 2.5 saggy panties.
And I'm gonna give it 3 mysteriously old teenagers out of 5. I feel like
I'm gonna give it 40 out of 47.
The arse end of this movie is the good part. They could have done so much better with the story and the beginning of it, but by the end, I lost interest, and then by the end they had me back, but it was too late, and I was like, okay, cool.
So you're saying
I would have liked
of Aquanet?
No, no, it's just 3 AARP cards at the time. You know. This as said, this was the final installment. They were not coming back. Jason was going to be dead. Friday the 13th was going to try and do a Halloween 3 and flex on and do something weird. Except from the $2.2 million budget, we made $33 million with this. $33 million. You know?
Made it rain.
It's crazy. So, of course, it's like, time to go. Time to go again.
More.
More. And we take some really weird... This is where we start to take the weird turns, right? Yeah. After this one. It's like, okay.
Oh, that formula's a bit tired. Let's try new things.
Luke,
where's that psychic girl?
Luke, I just read that
See, Jeff's with me.
There were rumors that Paramount Pictures billed the 4th film as the final chapter as a result of them feeling embarrassed by their association with it.
Oh, but they love the money. That's the thing. Yeah. Cognitive dissonance is not your friend. If you love that money, then you fucking own that. That's something we've made and we're proud of it. Don't act all ashamed of it, you losers.
I think they're ashamed of it because it was so bad.
Look.
But you know what? Made more money than some of their good stuff. So get over it.
This didn't have the right stuff.
The right stuff. And that's kind of the end of what we have to offer this Friday the 13th. There are worse things we could do.
In 84, a lot worse came out in 84. Yes,
I
know.
Get water up your pee. But yeah, look, again, it's very interesting to see where this goes. Because for me, if we have only watched the ones we've watched, you know, got a lot more to go. If we've only watched the one we've watched, I still think, and I say this all the time, 1 and 2 are one movie. That's the way I look at it. If I'm watching part 1, I watch part 2.
Mm-hmm.
So part 2 is the high point for me so far.
I mean,
because we get Jason as Jason. I know he doesn't get the hockey mask, but I get it. Like, I get what this franchise is going to be. Oh my god!
But the first
Hello?
installment had bacon.
Hello.
Bacon.
Yeah, I know. But it was a different movie. It was a murder mystery, as we said. Like, it was a completely different movie to what this franchise turned out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Part 2 is where the franchise starts. Part 1's the prequel.
Okay.
Part 1 is like the pearl to Part 2's X, if we put it that way.
Let's not go there.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? But there's more. That means there's more to come. We will keep tackling
we did
it.
chat to. So if you love Part 5, we did chat to Melanie Kinnaman. So you can find that on our.
Melanie Kinnaman was a
YouTube.
lot of fun. She had a lot of interesting stories about the movie, as did Lauren as well. When we talked to her about brown panties.
So we talked to Lauren from Part 2, who played Vicky in her brown panties. We talked all about those brown panties.
And hopefully we'll get someone else on eventually to talk about their life within the franchise. But thank you for joining us for a live today. Thank you, Chris, for sending us some stars.
Join us next time where we get Vera to actually watch the film and review it with us.
I don't know how we're going to do Jason Goes to Hell and the New York one. I like that.
I love Jason Takes Manhattan. I don't care what you say.
I really lose interest with Toxic Avenger Jason. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I love the Toxic
That's
Avenger.
all right.
That's probably where it came from.
Oh, you got to go. Luke's turning
sideways.
We'll talk to you all soon. Stay out of the lake and make sure you take your fucking
probiotics.
What do you call it?
Probiotics.
Erythromycin. Whatever. Bye. See ya. Look, this is just worth reporting on because it's like history.
Mm-hmm.
Let it be dictated. Katie and Jeff agree on something. That's all. Scary stuff. Scary.